Sim racing just got more real. Why? We're gonna tell you right here, right now. Greetings Rummy, you're watching Rum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing. Today we're once again reviewing a sim racing product that could interest you. Thanks to all those who come here often, especially those who subscribe, and even more, our patrons. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. If you have watched our videos from the Sim Racing Expo 24, see the link up there, you will have heard us praising the Sim Racing Pro pedals. These are not load cell nor are they hydraulic, they are pneumatic, meaning you compress gas and that compression is the one informing the system how much pressure you are applying on, say, the brake. What is special about this technology is that, like hydraulic pedals and Simucube's active pedals, they measure the pressure you exert on them, not some travel, and the compression of the gas makes them feel very near to what you encounter in real life, especially in cars that are not drive-by-wire, but where you really have brake fluid. They come in three versions, a 2-pedal set with round pedals or one with flat pedals, or a 3-pedal set with round pedals, which includes the clutch. Prices starting at €740 plus VAT, transport and any other stuff. The configuration I got sent for testing, which includes a heel rest as well as a support for the accelerator pedal, would cost €990 plus VAT and all that. Cody was so impressed by the pedals at the Sim Racing Expo that he went and bought them for his own rig, so we'll have him also in parts of the video.
Howdy!
Let's get to it. Mounting the pedals to the rig was extremely easy as they already come pre-assembled and affixed to the pedal plate, and you only need to place the pedal plate to your rig, which is easy because it's got many pre-arranged holes and rails already on it. This should fit any imaginable rig, and it sure fits my test rig. The space between the pedals is wide enough, you won't have the issues you may have with the IMSIM Talento, see the link up there. And you can even change the position of the pedal plates, speaking of which, all needed tools are included in the box as well as all needed nuts and bolts. Hey, you can go nuts changing things on the pedals! You can, as I said, change the position of the pedal plates, you can change the inclination of the pedals, you can adjust the position the brake piston is affixed to the pedal and therefore make it harder or softer to use. You can make the braking harder also by changing the travel of the piston. You can similarly adjust the throw of the throttle and clutch pedals. You can even turn the back base of the pedal 180 degrees and shorten the throw of the pedal from 4.5 centimeters to 2.5 centimeters. Once again, I was absolutely happy to keep all the settings the way they were delivered and felt no need to change them, but you can if you feel the need to do so.
On the other hand, I adjusted my brake travel to be as long as possible, and I was able to fine-tune it mostly to my liking. I wish that it could go a little further, but ultimately I've settled into this configuration and I'm very content with where it's at. Out of the box, I found that the clutch and throttle pedals didn't require any travel adjustments for my liking anyways, but I did note that the travel control for these is not as sophisticated as it is for the brake. You'll have fewer options.
After affixing the pedal plate to your rig, you calibrate the pedals in their software to your preferred settings and you're set. You can go deep into the rabbit hole of changing every detail possible in the software, but truth to be told, I would be quite lost with all of that and normally leave those for the tinkerers and engineers. Just know you can tinker and fiddle to your delight.
The auto brake feature, where the max brake pressure adjusts to your recent hardest pushes of the brake, is a really helpful feature and I quite liked it, especially at the beginning of using these pedals. I wound up after some extensive testing averaging around a brake pressure of 47, which feels like a similar level of pressure, though not necessarily pedal travel, to fully press the brakes in the 986 Porsche Boxster S that I've been driving lately. The software offers two options for setup, Pro and Custom. These both perform the same core function. It's a place to calibrate your pedals. For some reason, the Pro option is the simpler, more stripped down one, with the Custom option being the more in-depth, I'd say professional option. not only is the naming scheme confusing, but these pages do basically the same thing. I think it would be worth looking at revising this, perhaps by combining these two sections into one unified adjustments page with straightforward options, and then the user could open up more options to customize them in more detail if they like. And while we're on the subject of usability, tooltips to explain what different adjustments do would be really helpful. I still don't know what tare means. I don't know what that means, and that's in the simplified Pro menu.
This system exudes great engineering vibes. All parts are strong and have been produced with high quality. The way the parts are put together speaks also of high quality production, including details like mounts for the cables. While I suppose they are there for the safety of the cables, they also make the pedals look great. And these pedals do look great, but if you don't like this special look, you can go for a black finish and choose many different colors for the pedal faces. If you like industrial engineering as a visual style choice, these are going to make you very happy. I could just watch them all day, but that's not what we're here for. I was surprised that in spite of the pneumatics and whatnot, the pedals only needed a 5V USB-C connection to run. But make no mistake, you should connect the pedals to a USB port that delivers electricity. An important detail is that as far as we know and as far as we can see, this is all designed by SR Pro themselves. All bespoke parts including the controller unit.
The extensive documentation that comes with this was much appreciated. And this was the only paper instruction that I received of any piece of kit in my rig, and bless them for that. It's certainly a step above expectations, and it made these pedals feel like a truly professional piece of equipment, which, for the build quality and price to match, it is. And these pedals feel amazing. The build quality is industrial strength, thick metal, heavy-duty fasteners. Using these as intended, I don't think that there's any way that I'd be able to hurt them. The only thing that could possibly be an issue would be the sensors that stick out of the pistons being prone to having something heavy dropped on them. But that's about it. And the chances of that happening are rather slim because even they seem well built. The pneumatic experience feels more like the sensation of a real car's hydraulic brake setup than a load cell does. They feel not only like you're pushing against something like a spring or elastomer, but that you are pushing through something, notably something that's not a solid. In a real car, that's a liquid, brake fluid. With these, it's gas. This has a dampening effect on even your most frantic stabs at the controls, a bit like a shock absorber, resulting in naturally smoother inputs. And, as you either know or will come to know, smooth equals fast. The difference compared to a spring-based system is most apparent in the throttle pedal, which relies primarily on the pneumatic piston, and most consequential in the brake pedal, which has a pneumatic piston aided by a spring. The throttle is smooth and mostly linear. It requires only a slight bit more force at 100% than at 10%, so it highlights the pneumatic experience pretty well. The brake pedal takes this experience to a whole different plane of existence. This thing's amazing. It combines a much stiffer pneumatic mechanism with a spring, the combined force of which is so hard to compress that it requires a Herculean amount of effort to get it all the way down. At Sim Racing Expo, both full-time members of Sim Racing Pro told me in 2 languages, you cannot push this all the way in. You won't be able to do it. And for the most part, they're correct. It's doable, it's really difficult, and it's certainly not realistic for most vehicles. F1 cars, a notable exception, I see you in the comments, which is where dialing back the brake pressure required to get to 100% in the software comes into play. Getting that dialed in, and the auto brake feature can help a lot to do that, to get it exactly where you want it, results in the use of somewhere between 40 to 75% of the brake pedal, and yields perhaps the best braking experience in its class. I'll say that. I took to this like a duck to water. Now, speaking of ducks, the odd duck here is the clutch. It has all the benefits and mostly shares the workings of the gas pedal, but it has a black box with a magnet in it that simulates the clutch bite. This solution results in a sensation of clutch bite that both hits and misses the mark. What works is the feeling of the mechanism at play. A push that gets increasingly difficult until 80 to 85%, where it's most difficult at the bite point, then gets suddenly easier as the clutch engages. Think of this as playing a note beautifully, accurately, exactly in tune. I know, stay with me here. What doesn't work is that this feeling is so incredibly light that you barely feel it, even on a slow push of the pedal, and you don't feel it at all on a hard stab. Think of this as playing that beautiful note so quietly that almost nobody can hear it. The result is a clutch that feels too similar to the throttle at race pace for my liking. Now, this may be to some people's liking. After all, an entirely linear clutch can make your starts faster in many simulators. But for the price, I'd like the bite point simulation to be either stiffer or, better yet, adjustable.
All things said, learning the right feel of the pedals is quite easy and happens in just a couple of laps. It's really easy to know where you are putting the pedals and easy to remember how to work them to have the car behave the way you like. Be aware the brake does not have a really long travel. Any changes you do on the pedal will still keep the travel shorter than in most other pedals. It's okay for me because they are very finely tuned, but if you prefer long travel, I recommend you test these pedals to find out if you are okay with the way the brake behaves. It may well be the case as even Cody, normally preferring a rather long travel for the brakes, still fell in love with the way the SR Pros are set up. And because of the way the brake feels and behaves and the way the software sets them up, lockups are extremely seldom, even on open wheelers. If you like what you see, how about supporting us? A like and a comment to tell the almighty algorithm we are worth watching are a good start. Subscribing is even better, and what really helps us grow is you becoming a patron, as YouTube's income is tiny for a sim racing channels. Patrons get access to exclusive content and are involved in our decision. Help us grow with your support. Help us keep spreading the joy of sim racing. Become a patron today. Should you buy them? There's many ways to approach this question. From an aesthetic point of view, I consider these pedals to be wonderful to look at, and they make me sigh at least once a day when I watch them at how beautiful good engineering can look. But as I said, this is not why we're here. This is rather not why we would buy them. From a point of view of longevity, this quality in engineering and finish is excellent, and while it's something we often see in this price range, it's still fantastic. These pedals may very well be the last thing you buy for your rig, as we expect them to last forever. From the point of view of the driving feeling, especially if you drive cars yourself, you will feel at home with these pedals and will get accustomed to their feel quite easily. The build of the pedals has been extremely thought out so as to give these pedals longevity as well as a great feel. From the point of view of making fast times, they come very near to the times of the Simucubes. See our video linked up there, with 1:49.396 as my best time on Road America, but exactly 1 second away on Spa with 2:23.056 at 2/3 of the cost. Also, these pedals are very silent, as they have been engineered so that there's seldom metal on metal contact.
The engineering prowess at play here also went into the installation process, as setting up the pedals on this rig was an extremely efficient and easy two-step process. Mount to rig, plug in. And the extreme adjustability helps you set up the pedals in so many ways to accommodate the style of driving that works best for you. One thing SimRacing Pro may want to improve is the user experience design of their software. They should give this the same care and thought that they gave to the pedals, and make the software easier to use, less cluttered, better structured, while retaining the robust customizability options that it currently has, which is the major strength of the current iteration.
And the clutch did not convince neither Cody nor me completely. This is a pedal the company may want to redesign and where the pneumatic feeling has nothing to add at the moment. I understand modern sims do not deliver enough detail in their telemetry to help make better use of the clutch, as we know of no sim that offers the information of when the clutch is near the bite point and you feel some resistance on the pedal but the bite is not there yet. Sure, it's more a thing of immersion and simulation than a real issue with racing. If you're thinking about getting new pedals, well, we can recommend the SR Pros wholeheartedly based on quality, design and their driving feeling. I'd say you should get the 2-pedal version where you will get fantastic value for the price. Because these are, in our opinion, the second best pedals on the market, and we have the test times to prove it.